I think it's likely that many of us at some stage look up from our desk and have this sudden realization, a hint of dread about our existence, and it makes us wonder and reevaluate what are we actually doing. This image explains the cycle of rat race very well, and I think it is a cycle that a lot of us are way too familiar with. It's a cycle of constantly having to work in order just to pay the bills, to buying more things, and ended up full of debts, all the meanwhile trying to seek for the success that you can't even define. And because we don't know what success is, we keep doing the same thing over and over. The rat race is when you follow everyone else in the hope that one day you will find that fulfillment and happiness, and the more you don't know, the more you follow others in the hope that someday you'll find that little secret oasis. It is a hamster wheel that keeps going on, and unfortunately many of us are just way too familiar with it. Many of us are living in that life, and I can't say that I was any different. I was also in a rat race. When I moved to the UK, I earned a very little income, so I spent years trying to get promoted, work up my career ladder, and in some ways the hard work sort of paid off within the system. I managed to got promoted to a middle management position, and when I reached that career goal, although I had more money then and a little bit more flexibility, but somehow in a very strange way, I always left unfulfilled and still felt broke, even though I double or triple my income. And I'm just going to be very honest with you, because in this video, no, I am not going to tell you that the only way to break the cycle is to become an influencer, content creator, or business owner. I am not going to be telling you that you need to quit your corporate job on 9 to 5 in order to get out of the rat race. I was once in the corporate grind, but I am now a full-time content creator and full-time business owner. So I have tried all the avenues that people say are the secret to getting out of the rat race. But the truth is, all of these things that most people mention, if you don't do them right, they can still put you back in the cycle of rat race. And in this video, I am going to give you my perspectives. Those are less talked about. I'm also going to be outlining some of the options that you can pursue and some that I am planning to do myself to get out of this dreadful cycle. And again, it doesn't always have to involve not having a job. But before we get to the options, the first thing that I want you to really think about is what success means to you. And this is where my perspective is probably going to be different than a lot of people on the internet who tries to push you one narrative. You know, they try to say that, okay, in order to get out of this rat race, the only way to get out is to become a content creator. The only way to get out is to earn money from passive income. But that doesn't really mean anything if you don't enjoy what you're doing, if it doesn't give you that sense of success. There's no fixed path, and success is very much specific to you. And a lot of times the reason that we are trapped in this cycle of dreadful rat race, it is because we don't know how to define success for us. All my time of being a corporate employee, content creator, and a business owner, there's one thing that I can tell you, and that is all of these jobs can eventually become a grind or a rat race if you're not careful. Content creator can actually be a real grind, and it's actually one of the most difficult things. The big creators that you see online who have millions and millions of followers, those are the only 0.5% of the population. Creating content can be a really constant cycle of coming up with ideas, filming, tracking analytics, and to make sure that your videos are going to be pushed by the algorithm. Being a business owner is also a grind, because although you have people doing a lot of work for you, you still have to deal with people. You still have to deal with problems. All of these jobs come with their unique set of stress and challenges, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If success for you means that you don't want any major responsibility, you want that certainty of a fixed income, maybe being an employee working a corporate job is an option for you. There is no perfect solution, and I'm really passionate about this, so I am going to say this again. If people are telling you that there is only one way to get out of the rat race and it doesn't come with any stress, it doesn't come with its own sets of problems, and it is the one solution for everyone, then that is not the case. This is real life we're talking about, and everyone's lives are going to be different. Once you define what success is to you, then you need to analyze your own limitations. A lot of times we're not reaching that level of success that is unique to us is because there is something that is holding us back. And the first one, and the one that we've covered a lot in this channel, Reinventing Poppy, is mindset. When it comes to mindset, I learn a lot from reading the book Mindset by 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬. She says that people who has growth mindset tend to do better than people who has a fixed mindset. So for example, instead of thinking that I am bad with money, we should change the narrative and the language to something like, I should learn more about money. And I have to talk about this because mindset was one of the key factors that was limiting me from getting out of the old lifestyle. Another thing that holds a lot of us back, preventing us from getting out of this cycle, is also our mindset about failure, the fear of failing. A lot of times that holds us back from moving away from the lifestyle. Or it could be the mindset that you need to compare yourself with everyone else and have to have the same thing that everyone does, keeping up with the Joneses. You view life as a constant competition with other people, but the truth is life is about competing with yourself. The old version of yourself yesterday or last week or last month, that is actually who we are competing with. Another limitation that a lot of us have is habits. If you have unhealthy habits, for example, spending too much time on your phone, that will prevent you from sitting down and thinking what success means to you and then move away from the life that you don't want. Another limitation is also skills, depending on what you want to do and how you plan to get out of the rat race. Like I said, I'll cover all the options shortly. Some of these options will require a very specific skills, especially the macro skills like communication, networking, people management, how to learn information, how to process information. And without these skills, it can be difficult for us to find success in getting out of the cycle. Now that we cover all the basics, at this point you're probably wondering, how can I then practically getting out of this rat race? And a lot of times getting out of rat race, apart from the mindset shift change, it is also linked pretty closely to financial freedom. Financial freedom allow all of us to make decisions, make choices in life where we're not constrained by immediate financial needs. And therefore, in order to get out of the rat race, we have to have a good plan for financial freedom. So let's go through all of them together. I'm actually in Thailand right now and I'm going to write this while holding the microphone. We'll see how that works. So we'll look at different popular methods and their risk, the chance of success, potential financial payoff, time required for each method, and quickest payoff. And the first method that has become popular in the last couple of years is geographic arbitrage. And that involves those living in a better paid countries those are paid in better currency like USD, pounds, or euro to move to a cheaper cost of living country. For example, Thailand, Mexico, those kind of things. And this is something I am kind of currently doing. I will be in Thailand for the next couple of months. If you watch previous videos on this channel, you know what I'm up to, what I'm doing, but I decided to do fertility treatment in Thailand because obviously it's more cost effective. But this is a method that people use to pursue financial freedom because, for example, if you live in Thailand, if you can work remotely with a salary of $2,000, you can live a very, very good life. I want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of the video today, Squarespace. I've tried different website platforms over the years, but Squarespace just makes things so much easier. And now they even takes it to the next level level with their design intelligence, which uses AI and their 20 years of design expertise to help you build a personalized and beautiful website without needing any help from a technical expert. And if you are running a business like myself, Squarespace Payments makes getting paid seamless. You can start accepting payments in just a few clicks, and that includes payments like Klarna, Apple Pay, and Afterpay, so your customers have more ways to check out. So if you've been thinking about starting a website, now is the time. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/reinventingpoppy to get 10% off of your first purchase. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. The risk is pretty low on this one, and the chance of success is obviously quite high because it doesn't really involve you putting huge amount of investment. It doesn't really require a longer time frame for payoff. You can just pack up and move in around 3 to 5 months, and the payoff is almost immediately. When you settle down, your $2,000 income is going to stretch you much further than living in the country where cost of living is obviously much higher. Another common and popular method that people use in order to achieve that financial freedom is extreme frugality. And this was actually something that I started off with my financial freedom journey. Right now, I'm still kind of on this journey, and I've tried different methods, and the ones that I'm covering on here are the ones that most of them I have tried, and the risk is fairly low. The only problem with extreme frugality, and this is why I'm not really pursuing it anymore, is that the payoff is pretty minimal, and also it takes a lot of time to get to the point where you reach that financial freedom with extreme frugality. For example, if you take 8 to 10 years to save 50 or 70% of your income living frugally for the next 8 or 10 years, you might be able to build up, let's say, maybe $3 million of nest egg that can fund your future. But that 3 million, for me personally, that may not last that long. It might last like another 10 years or so. So for me, I feel like it takes a lot of time and the payoff is minimal. But if you're someone who is in your 20s, you're someone younger, you have that longer time span to, invest to let that money grow, extreme frugality or just living frugally can be a really good option. The next one is sell a small business. And this is something that I am personally currently pursuing as part of my financial freedom journey. And there's a lot of positive things about this method, and hence why I chose it. And the first one is that the payoff can be really quick. For example, you can buy a small business today for the value of $50,000. You put your hours into it, you put new technology into it, you do a little bit of remodeling, you make it nice, modern, train people. Once the business can run well, it generates more value. You can sell that business for 3 to 4 times the money that you put in, and you can do that within the time span of 2 to 3 years. But obviously, with all the positive side of this method, it is still considered a pretty high risk because there's always a risk that the business may not be as successful as you plan for, and you might not be able to sell to the value that you wanted. The next one is passive income, and I want to break this down into 2 categories. And one is passive income with property, and another is passive income from social media, selling digital products or YouTube. And I want to break these down into 2 different categories because each of them has completely different payoff. Passive income from property, these are the ones that, let's say you buy a property and then you rent it out, you Airbnb it out, or you rent it out to a full-time long-term tenant. So those, from what I've seen and what I have experienced, they carry quite moderate risk. Most of the time unfortunately, we're living in a world where properties and houses, homes, there aren't enough of them in order to supply the people that want them. And therefore, if you buy a house, you rent it out, most of the time you'll be able to make enough money to cover the mortgage. We're now living full time with our business being the US, but we still keep the house in London and we rent that out. And the time spent on that is minimal. I don't really do anything because we have full-time tenant. So if this is something that you're looking at in order to get financial freedom, I really highly recommend it. In terms of passive income from property can be truly passive. I can't say the same about passive income from social media because from my experience, it is all depends on the size of your following, and the risk is low because it's not like you investing a lot of money onto doing social media or doing YouTube video or doing a digital product. However, I feel the success rate for making passive income from social media is varies. It depends on your ability to build up that following, your ability to break through from the crowd, and it's not always promise and guarantee. So I think if there's anything that I can say about making passive income from social media is that don't rely on it. Don't count that you are going to be 100%, 1000% successful. Always have another plan. Always have another method. Pick another method that I've outlined here along with social media can be a really great option to escape that rat race. And the last one is to be one of the first employees at a startup. This is the method that my husband is currently using. So he doesn't own his own business, but when you are early employees at the startup, most of the time startups don't have a lot of money, so they will give you a lower fixed salary, but what they will give you instead of shares of the company. And as the company grow, the values of your share will grow along with the company valuation. And hopefully, if all things go to plan, once the startup sells, you get your value of the share maybe double or triple or 10x more than when you join. So you get a lot of payout when the company sells. This is also another great way of getting to that financial freedom. However, I have to say startup comes with a pretty high risk, and we all know that maybe between 1 to 3 startups will actually survive. Most of them actually fail. So that is something to bear in mind too. And it's important to know that whichever method you choose, it doesn't always have to be that way forever. For example, I started off with extreme frugality because I didn't have money to invest in a business. I then started my financial freedom journey with YouTube. And as I grew my income, I grew my wealth, I invested in a property, which is a home that I was living at the time in London. And then I bought a business, and hence why mindset is so important, because if you zoom out, you know that these are the options out there for you to get out of the rat race. And if you start from one thing, and once you're in a good place, when you have enough skills, once you have enough savings, once you have more opportunities or options, you can opt to deploy different methods. And if you can do 1 or 2 of these, you'll be well on your way to escaping the rat race. At least I hope so, because that is the path that I'm working on. Whatever option you choose, you have to enjoy doing it, because getting out of a rat race, yes, you need to have enough financial freedom so that you're not being constrained by immediate financial needs, but also you have to be fulfilled and happy doing what you're doing. And if you don't enjoy any of the methods that I outlined here, then don't. Do I enjoy running a business? Yes. Do I 100% of the time, every second of the day, enjoy running my business? No. But life is not about 100% every single minute of the day enjoying something. But if you enjoy doing something most of the time, 9 out of 10 times and 8 out of 10 times, then that is what you want to aim for. When I at the early stage of trying to make passive income from social media, I had to at some point stop posting videos on my first YouTube channel because I didn't enjoy talking about that topic anymore. I didn't enjoy doing what I was doing anymore. So I stopped because I knew that that was important. You know, even though I made money on that old YouTube channel, I felt like I would have still been in a rat race if I kept doing something just for the sake of money and not enjoying what I was doing. I hope you found this video helpful. I am really passionate about this topic, and I feel that we can all get out of this cycle. We can all be free in our own way. We can all find meaning and success if we are careful and intentional about how we want to live our lives. I'll see you in the next one. You take care. Bye.